Hello my friends, welcome back. Today I want to share my review and opinion on the latest Warhammer 40K novel, Son of the Forest by Mike Brooks, as we get to know of the biggest comeback in Imperial records, the return of the Lion. Please beware, there will be spoilers, and of course always support the authors by buying original novels or audiobooks how you prefer, as this is how we continue to enjoy this wonderful lore and great stories from the Warhammer 40K universe. Now let's get to it. The story starts with Lion L. Johnson on a river in the middle of a forest, having a hard time in his mind, figuring out if he's a vision or a dream. Before we go on, let's do a quick recap on who Lion L. Johnson is and how he went missing for 10,000 years. As it is the story of many primarchs after the heresy, Lion L. Johnson, the primarch of the Dark Angels Legion, who is also known as the Lord of Shadowed Paths and the First Son. He is one of the most mysterious and enigmatic of his brothers, and his fate has been shrouded in mystery for millennia. In Caliban, after an agonizing victory of the Emperor and all loyalist forces on Terra, we are witnesses to a mirror of sorts of the fight between the Emperor and Horus, and Lion L. Johnson and Luther, the man that felt betrayal, underappreciation and abandonment when the Lion took the First Legion to the Crusade and left them on Caliban. After the massive fight between the Lion and Luther, the destruction of Caliban only to be reduced to an asteroid with the Dark Angels Fortress Monastery on it, the Rock, as it is known now, the forces of chaos unleashed a warp storm, scattering all who remained between time and space across the galaxy, including Lion L. Johnson, the Primarch of the First. That said, and in order to give some background to the book, and now we continue, the Lion, as he looks around the river and the forest, comes to the awakening he has no memory, but realizes now that he's supposed to know. The Lion finds himself alone and lost, with no memory of who he is or what he has done. As he makes his way through the forest, he encounters local people who are there looking for wood and supplies. But the surprise happens once the Lion follows him all the way to their camp, where he is actually attacked by none other than a fallen Dark Angel, who shoots the Lion on sight. After a struggle of obviously being dominated by his Primarch, here we meet Zabriel, a Dark Angel that was on Caliban when Luther rebelled. After the massive warp storms, he was sent through space and time to this planet. He is now living in hiding, still upholding his oaths to protect Manking in any way he can, but staying out of sight of the modern Dark Angels chapter. One of the most important parts of this book happens when the Lion talks with Zabriel. The Legion thought the Lion a traitor for attacking Caliban, and the Lion tells him that the Dark Angels fleet was fired upon from Caliban, meaning he only fired back and was not in fact at fault for the Caliban war of Luther against the Lion. This has never crossed the mind of Zabriel, and it is after this that Zabriel pledges his loyalty to the Lion once more. And as of this moment, in one of the best things that have come with the Lion returning, he forgives his fallen son, now named Risen, legionaries of the First that return. I'm just going to say Asmodai is not going to be too happy about that. So the whole Caliban Dark Angels civil war was based on a misunderstanding. Not only did the Dark Angels on Caliban have no idea Luther turned to chaos and attacked first, but after the fact they were told the Lion shot first, which of course was a lie. There is one very important thing to point out that we learn in this book about the Lion. He doesn't demand to be followed, he just asks to be followed. He does not demand to be upheld as authority. He is a liberator and a protector of the Imperium. Zabriel points out how the Lion somehow now looks older. The Lion has changed, not only in appearance but also in personality. A mix of time and self-reflection has made him a far less vindictive and stubborn man. While he is still a great general and warrior, there is a certain empathy that he lacked before. This is most exemplified by his admitting his own faults, both privately and publicly, especially when it comes to the treatment of his sons. Zabriel tells the Lion he has only been out of the warp and awake in reality for 400 years, which is not much in Space Marine years. He tells him that they are now in Kamath, a planet, and then goes on to tell him what has happened in the 10,000 years that have passed. First, that all of his brothers, the Primarchs, are gone, as Zabriel doesn't know of Guilliman's return. The news has not come to Kamath, it seems. Then he continues saying that, by the order of Roboute Guilliman, the legions have been broken into chapters after the heresy. This angers the Lion a lot, and we see how Lion L. Johnson doesn't. Then Zabriel tells him some of the most important events that have happened, starting with the fact that the emperor is being worshipped as a god. This shocks him to no end. The impact of this on the lion is palpable. He continues until the fall of Cardia and the eruption of the Cicatrix Maledictum, and that basically they are now separated from the Imperium. The lion reaches the conclusion that there might not even be an Imperium anymore, but as he decides right there to reform his legion, with the now risen and the loyalists, to protect the Imperium that's left. The lion and the warriors now following him follow his incredible focus and relentless blade across the Imperium Nihilus, protecting what can be protected, destroying all chaos threats and bringing hope to the people of the Imperium. As the lion and Zabriel, along with the people that start rallying around them, battle a chaos warband called the Thousand Eyes, led by an actual dark angel fallen to chaos called Seraphax. This is a very action-packed story to show us the skills and power of the lion and the dark angels. But the most important thing that happens when the lion and Zabriel liberate this planet controlled by Seraphax is the lion finding the lion's sword during the liberation of Kamath, fighting the chaos forces and fallen that took hold there. During the book, the lion has several visions that connect with his forest walk ability, where first a Fisher King appears that doesn't answer his questions as he first awakens, only to tell him that he's not asking the right ones. Then later, an old king appears on a part of the forest and the lion ventures in. There is the Emperor's shield, and as the lion touches it, he has a monumental vision of what the Emperor saw, that he was a protector of his real. That gives him the Emperor's shield. I made in my mind the comparison between Robuta Gilliman receiving the Emperor's fire sword and the shield being given to Lionel Johnson. As Robut sets to the stars on a gigantic crusade to save the Imperium, the lion sets up to protect the Imperium and its people. In the symbolism of the two, it means a lot to me, as a light of hope is lit once again for the people in Imperium Nihilus. I will not be spoiling much more, as I feel it's not really important to go over the fight against the Chaos Warband and how he set up his risen warriors, after Zabriel, that is, since it sort of repeats. Now I want to share my reaction. I really liked this book. The story of the lion returning, like in an Arthurian tale of legend. A knight in the lake in the middle of the forest, sworn to protect the weak, the emperor showing himself as a fisherman, and then an old king, is perfect. This is a tale, in my opinion, of change and redemption in the middle of the grim dark universe of war and despair, as the lion himself changes without stopping to be who he was all along. A primarch of the Imperium, a prince knight warrior of old, hunting down evil and protecting his people. That said, it's quite a disappointment to count what we didn't get in this book. The lion does not meet Azrael or the Dark Angels chapter, does not meet Gilliman, amongst other things. But that said, I really enjoyed the book, and it does end great when a Blood Angel strike force meets the lion's improvised fleet. And as Lionel Johnson meets Dante, he screams, "Who are you?" because he recognizes his beloved brother Sanguinius on the helmet Commander Dante uses. And as Dante bows to him, he tells him it's incredible, where he meets a primarch even if this not the only one. Then he drops it on, the lion telling him, Robert Gilliman has also returned. The lion feels better about everything since he now thinks he's not alone. That was my review. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments how you liked the Son of the Forest book and the Return of the Lion. Remember to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. We'll see each other on the next one. And remember to keep the light of the Emperor burning.